Welcome back to the Triple Option here on 365 Sports. Paul Catalina alongside Chris Allman. Last segment of the show today, and the last time you'll see Chris this week.
Maybe ever.
Well, no, you'll be back. Our first review of the show was Chris Allman is a star.
Well, I doubt that. I think you're just telling me that to make me feel better.
Kim Coulter, I'll tell you. I know they actually said it.
It's legit.
Yeah, Kim. Yeah.
Well, I don't know who Kim Coulter is, but
great guy, Kim Coulter.
Kim Coulter. I'll buy you a
big Longhorn, or not Longhorn, Texas Tech fan. He's probably like me now. Big Texas Tech fan.
Hey, well, Texas Tech. They got a phenomenal. I know they got great head coaches, but Matt Breyer, one of their assistant basketball coaches, a former Belton High School standout.
Okay.
Covered him when he was 15 years old. He's a stud. So enjoy that, Kim.
Oh, yeah. I know that both their head coaches in football and basketball quite well. Grant McCaslin,
I bet you do.
I've known a very long time. And Joey McGuire, they're both friends of the show. So
they've all made stops here in the River City. Is that what we are? No, that's San Antonio.
Yeah. I think River City is like a common, like San Antonio is like legitimately the River City because the city was built, like you still walk along the river.
Is it okay to talk about the fact that we're in Waco? I know we're a national. You're a national.
Yeah, we're Waco. I'm proud of it. Yeah.
Okay, great. I don't want to.
People know.
If I need to pretend like we're in the Northeast, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, like one day we'll just do a show and we'll just pretend we're from Boston.
Okay. Great.
Like college football.
Just do 45 minutes of Bruins talk.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do that. Or just get me on the Red Sox. I'll just do a character where I
a Southie.
I unleash my pain every time. But okay, football rivalries that are dying. I mean, there's a lot in the Pac-12 that are dying.
Yeah.
The Big 12 that are gone now. There's one that's coming back. A&M in Texas is coming back. I'm excited about that. I loved that game growing up. I'm excited it's going to be back. If for no other reason, then we can stop asking about when they're going to play each other again.
Yeah.
But there are I don't feel like outside of Bedlam, and I do think Oklahoma State fans have made their peace with it. There's not a lot of rivalries that are dying in the Big 12 that I think people are that mad about.
Yeah. I work with an Oklahoma State grad who is not doing well with that going away. I think if I could bring one back, this is one that I guess is not currently scheduled to come back because I would imagine Texas Arkansas is about to.
Yeah.
Right. It's about to be rebooted.
Yeah.
But I think probably Oklahoma, Nebraska. I would love to come back.
They played that the last couple years.
They did.
And it's just, I think it needs to be your permanent out-of-conference rival.
I agree. But I would also like to say with any of these, what I want brought back with them is not just, I don't want a kumbaya game played. I want some heat in it.
Yeah.
I want these teams, I want Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler, why'd you go for 2?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't go for 3.
Yeah.
I want hate. And I know we're probably not allowed to say stuff like that anymore, and we should want everyone to be nice and sterile and serene. But I want Oklahoma, Nebraska back, and I want Tom Osborne and Barry Switzer. Yeah. And, I want Bob Devaney and Barry Switzer. I want that kind of stuff back where there's a lack of civility to things. Yeah. And so even Nebraska, Colorado, those were really good games when I was a kid. Colorado's Bill McCartney powerhouse years. So I'd love to see those come back. But since Aggie and Longhorn is coming back, since Texas, Arkansas is coming back, really probably those – I'd like to see Nebraska get back to being Nebraska, and I'd like to see those rivalry games. Yeah. What about you?
I'd like to – of the teams that are I think it's kind of a bummer USC and Stanford is going to be over.
Yeah.
That one is a bummer. I know Stanford hasn't been that good recently, and really until last year, neither's USC.
Right.
But that was a really, really good.
Yeah.
UCLA and Stanford is a really big rivalry.
Yeah, and I would even take I know that Harbaugh and Carroll were not bitter enemies, but there was some real tension there, and that made those. That's the kind of stuff I want to see back.
Yeah, exactly. So those I'm going to miss a little bit. I think that. I'm going to miss Texas Tech and Texas playing.
Yeah.
I really am. I will say for your Oklahoma State friend, you can say this. If it makes you feel better, Oklahoma State is so far behind in that rivalry.
Yeah.
Mike Gundy's only won the game 3 times. 3 times.
Yeah.
And he's been there for almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
So, or maybe he has been. I think he's 3-16-1 maybe or something like that.
Yeah, we conveniently left OSU out of our inferiority complex conversation earlier. They for sure have one with OU.
No, and it's hard not to when
sure.
One school has been that's what the problem is now Texas doesn't have the pelts on the wall that Oklahoma or Alabama do.
Right.
They have enough to where when one school is kind of can be the class of college football, and you're trying to be that, and you just can't.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it. Yeah, I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss Bedlam. Just because it is an interstate rivalry.
Yeah.
Look, if the ACC breaks up and Florida, what I'm worried about, as a Florida State fan, is if conference realignment happens so much to where Florida State doesn't play Miami and Florida in the same year every year, where they wind up in a conference with Florida after leaving the conference with Miami, and then Miami doesn't go with them, and it's not every year. I'm gonna miss that because Florida and Miami play each other once a decade, home and home.
Yeah.
Because Florida is afraid to play Miami.
Really?
That's bottom line. They shouldn't be anymore, but
they used to be.
But when it came down, when Miami got really good, Florida was like, no, we're not gonna take this L.
Yeah.
We're just not going to.
Right.
And so they quit scheduling when they used to play them a lot more often.
Yeah.
When Miami was an automatic W, they loved playing them.
Yeah, I bet.
And then all of a sudden, Michael Irvin scores 4 touchdowns on you, and you're like, I don't.
You're like, let's rethink this.
Let's just, when we get enough letters and emails, we'll schedule a home and home 5 years out.
Yeah.
And then everybody can enjoy that one, and then we can be done with it. So
in terms of, it's a little underrated, but in terms of hostility, I mean, Pitt, West Virginia, I think.
Yeah, the fact that we've gotten that the last couple of years just needs to be that needs to be something that they're right there.
Yeah.
They're both and they're the same level of school. They're the same kind of similar histories and all that.
Yes.
They need to play each other. And their fans love it when they play each other.
I know. But again, to me, there's got to be some heat to it. I don't want
Pitt and Penn State would be another great one to bring.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. See, I bet that one had some real juice in the 70s, the Johnny Majors, Joe Paterno era.
Yeah.
So there's a few. Mine are probably regional because they're ones we grew up with in the Southwest Conference or at least the Big 8 just to our north. But more than anything, I want the heat back. I was okay with Coach Brawls and Coach Patterson not liking each other.
Oh, that's great.
I loved that. And maybe I shouldn't say that, but I just did. They're gladiators in the arena. Yeah. Entertain me. I don't care how you do it.
No, look, there was, between Bowden and Spurrier when I was in college, they really did respect each other and I think like each other.
Yeah.
But there was heat there. There was legitimate heat. And right now, the hatred still exists between those schools.
Right.
But I don't think because everybody's been so mediocre recently that the current student body understands it.
Yeah.
Which then takes away from it.
Yeah.
If you have a mediocre rivalry forever, you can, it's just kind of, it's a dud. So
sure.
Yeah. If in the 90s, those Florida State's games against Miami and Florida affected the national title hunt for
every year.
For every, not just for them.
Yeah. No, for everyone.
Schools, for everybody in the country. Those 2 games affected the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you throw in some years, they were also playing Notre Dame.
Yeah.
93, they lost to Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame lost to Boston College, and that's how they wound up in the back in the national championship game. So that's what I want. I want rivalry games that, again, affect, Alabama and LSU is one of my favorite ones right now because most years it's going to have that national effect of this has a ripple effect huge here.
Yeah. Do Michigan and Notre Dame, they don't have a regularly scheduled contest right now, right?
No.
That one, I thought about that one, but again, it's been a really long time, in my opinion, since Notre Dame has. I just feel like they both haven't been great at the same time in a long time.
The only one I would say Notre Dame has regularly now is USC.
Yeah.
USC, that's a great rival of theirs. And everybody else, everybody just loves playing Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They love to play Notre Dame.
Sure, yeah.
Because they love to hate them.
Yeah.
So they're everybody's rivalry game when you walk in. So they're a big one to me. It would have to be USC. I know that
I
there's
think
other,
so.
They've played Ohio State the last couple of years, and that's been fun to watch. But
that's not a rivalry.
That's not a rivalry in the sense of they're not playing all the time.
Right.
I know if they played Purdue, that would be a big deal because they're both in Indiana.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame plays Miami. It's a big rivalry game, right? Notre Dame would play anybody. It would be a big rivalry game. But USC is really the only one now that, especially since they played 5 or 6 ACC games, since they're consistent. rival.
Isn't it funny that rivalries can be born out of, I know we got to go pretty quick. Rivalries can be born out of playing each other for 100 years, or you have the Miami Notre Dame rivalry that, boy, those Holtz, Jimmy Johnson
and convicts,
teams,
yeah.
and like there's still hate. And that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
The rivalries they can flash up out of nowhere and linger for years.
Yeah, no, they're like, I don't like Ohio State because they beat FSU a couple times.
Yeah.
We've hardly played them, but when we have, we've lost. So
Yeah.
I don't like them.
But it's not a rivalry?
It's not a rivalry.
Right.
But I have that but I would, if it happened to be one, if it turned into one real quick, I'd be like, oh, I've been on this since 91.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's Astros Rangers. Man, I don't think that's a rivalry, but I think the Rangers are spare and I don't like them. So
It eventually will be.
nah.
The problem for you is, and us, we did not grow. They were not in the same division
Right.
when we grew up.
Right.
They were not in the same league when
Right.
we grew up. So that's one of the things that just has to build over time.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, as long as Marcus Simeon's there, I'll hate them.
Yeah, it's weird. One of the things that we'll have to get on the petty, who can you there I have a list, but there are certain people like coaches, players that I can just not get behind.
Yeah.
And no matter how good they are, I just hope that they're never traded to my team so I don't have to let go of it.
Yeah, I think you and I could fill up a full hour if we just wanted to do Aaron Boone for an hour.
Yeah.
I think we could, and I'd be happy to.
At least you've never had to smile through your teeth at him in
That's
person.
true. Oh, that's right. I forgot about you meeting him. You texted me about that.
It's a hard day, man.
Man, my only experience like that is having a phone conversation with Scott Podsednik and just telling him that he ruined Brad Lidge's career. And we had a nice chuckle, but I still don't like him for what he did to the Astros.
He's great. Scotty Paz is a great guy, too.
Yeah, he is. No, he's a nice guy,
guy,
but he still took Brad Lidge deep in the 05 World Series, and I just can't forgive him for that.
No. Well, yeah, I think that was a building, because if you remember the series before.
Yeah, I do,
I think
vividly.
Albert Pujols took a lot of Brad Lidge's soul with
His
him.
soul, his entire soul. It exited through the glass out in deep left field with Pujols' home run ball.
If Pujols dies before Brad Lidge is going to feel something. He's not going to understand what it is. He's just going to be walking around going, I feel different. Part of me is back.
It's like a weight.
I haven't
is
felt
gone.
this since 2005. I don't know since before that day. So anyway, but well, here we go. This is the triple option. It's 2:00. It's time to go. Chris, we'll see you next week, buddy.
Can't wait.
All right. See you, everybody.